typically do guard naval bases, right? And this investigative journalist was connecting the dots, leading people back to that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there was, for a strange reason, some type of restricted areas. They blocked off some certain areas that you couldn't go into for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
and other things that was going on as well. So,
and then
yeah.
they shut it all down.
Huh?
And then they shut it all down.
And then they shut it all down, man. I don't know if a hurricane went through there. I didn't know it was closed. I thought it was probably still there. I didn't know it was closed, but yeah, that's weird. That's just a lot of like oddities, right? Where I can't cut and dry and just say no, this is, not something. Yeah. This was something. It definitely wasn't a play of imagination. It wasn't something that lacked physical evidence, right? You had dead bodies, right? They didn't have the Chupacabra body. Yeah, man. And so yeah, that's a strange one for me, Steve. And then so that's when I had to say, all right, man, maybe I'm sleeping on the Chupacabra here, man. Steve, where are you at so far with this?
Yeah, no, I mean, I kind of got all that same kind of information. I did get, there was, I don't know, again, other than reading it online, there was one story that I did see. Don't know how legitimate it is, but there was apparently during that time, while this was still happening, there was a lot of night patrols going around trying to, guarding the farms and things like that, just trying to see something. And there were lots of reports of people seeing these little creatures running around. But there was one incident where a group of friends had gone out looking for one night. They actually went out into the woods looking for one, and one guy named was Luis Rivera. He had a video camera, apparently, and he was out and with this group of friends, and they kind of got a little bit. I don't know if they got separated, but they said all of a sudden they couldn't find Luis. The rest of them, they couldn't find him. Didn't know where he was.
Really?
Never saw him again. But they found his camera. They found his camera on the ground.
Oh my God! Oh my.
And they go back and they rewatch the footage. And on the footage, they're watching, and all of a sudden there's a bright flash. They hear this, and I actually heard this in a couple different stories. They heard this almost electrical buzzing sound, and then just a blur of something that rushed the camera, and that was the end of the video.
Wow.
So not sure, obviously, it's just one story, but the one that I did hear in a couple of spots, the idea or the electrical buzzing noise was almost like people encountered it, they would hear that noise on a couple different stories. So,
man, I apologize, man. I tried to bring you on, no dude got murked, man. There's a KIA in here, man. Okay, so El Chupacabra got one. All right.
Yep. But yeah, that was another consistently a pattern, hearing a buzzing noise when one was nearby. So,
man. Yeah, no, I didn't know that. Okay, that adds to the mystery. Enigmites, if you know that story, if you have any details to add to a good old Luis getting murked out there in the wilderness, put that in the comments below down there for us.
You always bring me on for the murder videos.
Man, I swear I thought this was going to be like I didn't know that one. But dang. All right. Yep. So okay.
Yeah.
So the investigative journalist, he actually put a title on his theory. It's not very original. Is like I thought he could do better. Project El Diablo. Steve, you want to translate that for us?
Project Devil.
Project Devil.
Project the Devil.
Come on, guys. You guys got to do better than that, man. Project Devil. And he said that, in his opinion, is that there was some type of, I'm going to read his words here, biogenetic experiment conducted jointly by the U.S. Navy and some type of shadow science contractors that were in Puerto Rico, right? That is not far-fetched at all. That is definitely not something that would be, out of the realm of possibility. And he says that some of his resources said that they were trying to create a hybrid surveillance creature, right? And that one of the prototypes they had escaped during one of the hurricanes or a storm or some type of power outage. He didn't really say what was what, and that's how it got out, right? But there was also, in conjunction with, he could not rule out the possibility. I will say this, though. He could not rule out the possibility that there was an extraterrestrial involvement here, too, that this was some type of aliens involvement. Central American and South American people are way more open to UFOs and aliens than North American people are.
Yeah.
So that was not something that was, and he said that was some kind of like alien life, interdimensional something, right? That it was causing it to float, he said, right? Now, that's pretty cool. I'll say that. The story was a little bit cooler as well. But here's one thing that lends a little bit more credibility to this for me, Steve-O, man. Is Mayor Jose Chamo Soto. All Central American, South American, and Filipino politicians always give themselves nicknames. I'm Joey the Bulldog, you know, Fabrahana, something like that, right? They all give themselves nicknames, right? I love it, man. So yeah, so he came out, man, and he became kind of a public figure talking about the Chupacabra saga. And he was actually, Steve, according to my notes, he was the one that he put armed men in the forest with rifles to try to capture one. Like, he was the one that was putting these people on patrol, right?
Yep, I heard that too, that he was very much involved, and he was, I mean, he himself was going out on these patrols, you know, trying and watch and find and see what they could learn. Yeah,
so and so, you know, he took it serious, you know, they took it serious. And the Puerto Rican Department of Agriculture came out against him, though, and said that was probably some type of feral dog attacks, which is laughable in I mean, it's laughable. It's not even a good theory. I don't know if you've ever seen a dog kill anything, Steve. Have you ever seen a dog kill anything?
Well, no, but I'm sure it doesn't just leave two little puncture marks and suck the blood out of it.
Yeah, so if a dog ever jumped on a chicken, it would, when they bite it, they shake their heads furiously, right? Yeah. They shake them, right? And, you know, where a lion or a feline that's a predator type is a much more, I mean, it's true. It's a much more merciful kill. Well, they'll suffocate you, you know. A bear will just start eating you, but a dog will tear you apart, right? Like literally will tear you apart, right?
Subscribe now and turn on the notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.